I felt it. It's a very, there's like 6 of them right here. So I'm gonna stay over here until they relax their brows.
Ooh,
okay, relax your brows. Because I told them I'm from where? The hood. Okay, just kidding, just kidding. Okay, so fit is about becoming your best self. Fit is not about a number on a scale. It's not about a dress size. I don't care about those things. Here's what I know to be true. I looked relatively thin even just 5 years ago, but I was completely unhealthy. I was completely unhealthy. And here I am praying, God, enlarge my territory. I want to see the world. I want to travel the world with my books. And then I was huffing and puffing on my steps, and he said, well, you're having a hard time getting around here, precious. You're not doing so good on these stairs. So maybe you should fix that before we could take you somewhere. Do you know how many people are praying for things they don't have the capacity to sustain? Do you realize that if you have a vision for your life, then it is your duty and responsibility to protect the vessel needed to execute that vision? If you have a vision for your life, who in this room has a vision for your life? You know where you want to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. You thought about it. If you don't have a vision, you better get one quick, or you're going to end up living out someone else's. So I'm going to ask you again, who has a vision for their life? Numbers are a little better. The people in the back, no vision. Get your vision together. Where do you see yourself? Because so often we get caught up in this whole hustle and grind. Have you ever been on social media and you see people talking about, like, I ain't slept, team no sleep. You heard sleep is for suckers, all I do is hustle and grind. They're posting at 4 a.m. If you not up, you crazy. No, maybe I manage my time more efficiently than you do. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I like to rest. Is that okay with you? We're on this hustle and grind. You ever have a friend? This happens with girls all the time, for sure. You have a friend where you're like, girl, I didn't sleep all night. And they're like, I haven't slept in 3 days. It's like more noble to be tired or more noble to be raggedy. You're like, and meanwhile, you look crazy. But you go ahead and be proud. Be proud. You have a responsibility to protect the vessel needed to execute the vision. You get one body. You have one temple, you get one body, and you think that you can abuse it and run it into the ground, and then you expect to go do all this amazing stuff? How? You're not working so you can make money to pay for prescriptions you can't pronounce. That's not what you're working for. You have to take care of yourself, and don't think because you're young it can't happen to you. There are stories every day about 22, 23, 25-year-olds who drop dead. Do you know that? Don't think it's just us old people. You too. You too. You have a responsibility to take care of your body. So what are you putting in your body? Every time you eat, you have a choice. Am I going to eat something that's going to make me more productive? Or do I want to eat something that's going to have me in here talking about, girl, I'm sleepy now. You should not feel like that after you eat. If you have to go lay out somewhere, that is not good. Food is supposed to fuel you, not take you out. No. Some of you don't drink any doggone water. No water. I don't drink water, it's nasty. What does your blood look like on that soda? Just thick. You need some water. You have a choice. Every time you put something in your mouth, you get to choose. Am I going to put something in my body that's going to help me really live to see that vision and enjoy it? Or am I just trying to get through the next few minutes? And some of you don't eat at all. Who are my friends that don't eat at all? You're like, let me tell you what I learned about that. I learned that not eating throughout the day will destroy your metabolism. I remember in 2014, I was trying to do every workout possible. I was like, what are these diets? What are these things? Like, what is going on? I feel like I'm going in the reverse. Now, I know I'm over 30 now, but my God, like, what is the problem? And then figured out that it was because I wasn't eating. And you know, when I was like 18, starving yourself meant you would be ready for the party on Saturday, right? You start on Thursday, Saturday, you're like, I'm back in it, let's go. After 30, no, it just kept coming. It just kept on, not in the right places, but it just kept coming, right? And I had to learn so many different things about just how to take care of my body. It's different for each of us, but the point is, look, if you have a vision, take care of yourself. Don't be so caught up in chasing money or chasing what the next thing is, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and forget that you need to be the best version of yourself. And it's not only about being physically fit, it's also about being mentally fit. Not to let you in on a secret. Do you know that just by virtue of who you are going to walk into some places and people are going to be annoyed by your anointing? Immediately. You see what I'm saying? They're going to be annoyed by your anointing, not because you did something. You're going to walk in, and I'm telling you, they will start rumors about you. They will talk behind your back. You'll walk in just wanting to be, hey, how's everybody doing? And then, you know, the guilty when they be like,
yes, they only want to speak, baby.
Hey, they can't even look you in the eye. Here's the problem with that. When you're not mentally fit and people do stuff like that to you, you'll mess around and start believing it. You have to have the mental capacity for what you say you want. If you have this grand vision, let's say you want to be a celebrity stylist, and you have this grand vision, Hollywood is tough. Traveling with these entertainers are tough. Being around these folks are tough. If you don't have mental fortitude, they will take you out. Be clear. Be careful what you're asking for if you're not ready for it. Don't pray for things that you don't have the mental capacity to sustain. Because if you get it right now, be clear. Your talent may take you places, but if you don't have the mental fortitude and the character to sustain it, it could be a blessing or it could be the greatest curse you've ever experienced. When I was little, I felt very ugly. And I know I joke up here about taking pictures and all that, but that's new. I grew up feeling very ugly. I'm Belizean, she's in Central America. And okay, one Belizean, hey. No one Belizean, heard of it? Praise the Lord. I'm Belizean, but my mom is half Guatemalan. So I grew up, all right, well, hey, new friend. Hey, new friend. So, I grew up on one side of my family that obviously looked black, and the other side which looked Hispanic, right? And I'm gonna give you guys a second to think about this, but what side do you think I look like?
The Hispanic.
Hispanic? Try again. Don't know like a lot of months. Come on. Oh, black. Oh, you guys are so smart. Okay. So yeah, I look like the black side, which means that whenever I would go to my primas, right? Whenever I would go visit with everybody else, they would call me Blackie, or they would talk about me, right? I would be Blackie, I would be the ugly one. They would, you know, say all this little slick stuff. I was that. But not only there, even in my home, in my actual home, I grew up with family members that, oh, your lips are too big, your nose is too flat, your eyes is this, your cheeks are that, everything that they pay for nowadays.
Okay.
Everything they pay for now was not cute growing up in the 80s in LA. And I remember being like 9 years old, multiple occasions throughout my childhood, getting in a tub of hot water and getting one of those thick loofah things and scrubbing. Because I was like, man, if this comes off, maybe I look like my brother. And my brother's fair skinned. I'm like, if this comes off, maybe I could look like him or look like them. I always felt ugly. And then I was one of the tallest girls in school. And the boys was just as little as they wanted to be. They didn't turn into nothing until about 10th grade. So I slouched a lot, and I was very skinny, and they called me beanpole, so I wore extra clothes. So when I look back at pictures from middle school and high school, you know what I look like?
Oh my
struggling
God.
to smile because I didn't want to show my teeth. It was a lot. And it wasn't until I was 25 years old, after 3 years in therapy, that I could look at myself in the mirror without cringing and wishing I looked like someone else. I was 25. I'm 37 now. What? Yes. You better act surprised. Well, wait a minute. Let me say it again, because that was a good reaction. I'm 37. Yes, thank you. Invite me to Chicago anytime. Y'all know how to treat a girl. Yeah. So I've only felt more comfortable in my skin for like really the last 10 years or so. Now, why do I tell you that? I had to go to therapy. Because in therapy, I learned that hurt people hurt people. And I learned that I would have to forgive people who would never say I'm sorry. I learned that sometimes the people who are supposed to love us the most are the ones who treat us the worst.
Okay.
That's real. And I had to learn to adapt a new definition of forgiveness. And that is, forgiveness is giving up the possibility of a better past. Giving up the possibility of a better past, because as long as we live in this place about what they could have did, what they didn't do, how they should have, as long as we live in that, we're never free to move forward. We're never free to walk into what is really out there for us. And sometimes, here's what you need to know. Even though your family may not mean it, but they allow themselves to be used as a way to take your calling from you before you even get a chance to get to it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like, they plant little seeds that if those seeds really grow in you and you never get rid of it, you never get past it, you'll never know what's on the other side. You'll never know what you could become as long as you stay stuck in that. And so I tell you that because when I look at how painfully insecure I was as a kid, painfully insecure, and I look at my life today, and I see my face on the cover of 4 books, and I get on stages in front of beautiful people like you, and sometimes there's up to 10,000 people in the room, all looking at my face on those big monitors, which is scary as hell. Because you're like, oh my God, right? And I've been on national television dozens of times and regional television. Every time I come here, I usually do Windy City Live. You heard of that show before? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love them. They're really sweet. But I've been on television all this time, and now with social media where people will troll and tear you up, they're just so unkind. How could I be who I am today had I not dealt with some of my childhood trauma? Sometimes the success that you're looking for is going to be on the other side of sitting on someone's couch or using one of these new apps and getting the help that you need so that you can let go of some of the foul stuff that people did to you when you were growing up. Because if you don't, that will linger on forever, and it doesn't matter how many schools you go to, how many degrees, how many certifications, it will constantly haunt you. And every time there's an opportunity for you to go for something, you will self-sabotage and get in the way and stop yourself from being able to do it. Some of you now, you get to things late and you think, oh, I just have a problem with time. No, you're self-sabotaging because you're fearful of what it would be like if you actually got that opportunity. Wow. You get in your own way. And we do that in so many different ways. So the fifth pillar is about being physically fit and mentally fit. The second pillar is people. Somebody say people. People. People is about creating relationships that matter. Creating relationships that matter. Wynn just gave a beautiful illustration of this. I was on tour with Tim Story, and then Tim introduced me to Wynn, and now I just got back from Arizona because Wynn introduced me to some other company, and it goes on and on and on. But people over the years have always asked me, how did you get to this and how did you get to that? It's not by forcing, pushing, or manipulating anything. I barely pitch myself for opportunities. And I stay booked and busy. I barely pitch myself. You know why you may not be getting all the opportunities you want? Because you don't even value the people that are already around you. A lot of times we think, oh, this person is going to introduce me to someone, or I need to meet this person. Do you guys remember when everyone was like, if I just get on Oprah Y'all from Chicago, so
Yeah.
I know you. If I just get on Oprah, my whole life is gonna change. Oprah done packed up, left, went to California, then took a little show off. Oprah not thinking about you. But there are people who literally live their whole lives. If I could just get to Oprah, if I could just get to this one. What if you just took care of the people that you already know? What if everything that you need is already embedded in the people that have been placed around you, but you're so busy doing this that you don't ever do this? I have people that slide in my DMs all the time with all this long speeches, and essentially it comes down to give me, give me, give me. What can you give me? What if you actually approached someone and said, what can I do for you? How can I support you? I see what you're doing out here. You're coming to my town. How can I support you? It's not about whether someone needs to take you up on the offer. It's about your heart. And are you willing to give? Or are you only willing to be like, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get? People who operate in what can I get hardly get anything. They hardly do. I always tell the story about when I was starting Redefining Wealth. I had this whole photo shoot at my house. And I wanted to capture all the pillars and all this stuff. It was a 2-day shoot. It was a big deal. So I brought in a creative director to just kind of help oversee everything. And she goes, well, you've been in LA for a while, so do you have a couple makeup artists? And I thought about it, and I was like, I do have people that have done my makeup for different things, and I like them as people. I like them deep down, you know, in here. I said, one of them, she always comes late. Always late. And then, you know people who come late and then they want to act like you don't know that they're late? So they want to come in all frazzled and like hold a full conversation, and you're like, ma'am, you're late. I need you to acknowledge that or something. Acknowledge it or something. We're not going to just act like. I was like, no, this starts at 6 a.m., so I don't know if I can go with her. And then there was another girl who I also really like. Any makeup artists here? You might do makeup? Okay. Another girl I really like, when she was done with you, you was feeling good about yourself. Whole new face, everything, beat you down. The problem is when you look at her little kid. Okay. You ever felt like someone's gonna touch you and you might develop something immediately on your face? You're like, I wanna be beat, but I don't know if I can take these chances. Like, this could end in a sigh, this could be very, yeah. She was great, but if you got a glimpse of that kid, you would be terrified, is what I'm saying. And I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with her either. So I said, you know what, just bring someone in, because I'll take my chances. Now, how sad is that when you are talented, but people don't want to take their chances on you and they already know you? They'd rather go with someone they've never met. So I said, bring in someone I've never met. And the morning of the shoot, supposed to start at 6 a.m., 5:15, we see a car roll up, pull up in front of the house and sit there. We can see it on the cameras, and my husband's like, who's that? I don't know. At 5:45, she rings the doorbell. Hi, I'm Brittany. You know, I want to come in and get set up and stuff. I said, well, girl, I don't know how to make coffee, but for you, because you want it, let's go. Come on. She came in, she was set up, she was ready to go. All day, she was super attentive. I was used to people who would do the first kind of thing, and then they would be off on Snapchat. Or I would look at their Insta story later, and my whole house is in the back. Like, can you take down a picture of my child in the back if you're going to stunt in my living room? Can we just... She was attentive the entire day. We got to a part where I had on like full clothes like all day, and I changed into like this dress or whatever. And we were outside in the backyard, and the photographer was getting ready to go, and she was like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Can I just go get something? I'll be right back. And everybody's like, what's she doing? What's going on? She comes back out with coconut oil, which I know about coconut oil. You know something about coconut oil? A blessing indeed, yes. She comes back out with coconut oil because I was ashy. And she was the only person who was paying enough attention to catch it. And she got down and greased my legs. Greased, okay? And then she got between my toes. I said, well, my husband don't even... Girl! She got down, she got on my feet. I was like, I like her. Now that's service, right? That's service. That's not her job description. That's service. nervous. The next day she came back, she did it all over again, and then I realized she lived over an hour away from my house. And she was the first person there again. Did an amazing job. 2 weeks later, the folks from Steve Harvey had left Chicago and came down to LA. And I was a regular when it was here in Chicago. And they said, hey, do you know any makeup artists? Do I? Did I tell them about the late girl? Did I tell them about the nasty girl? I'm gonna just call her nasty girl. She ain't here. Did I tell her about the nasty girl? I told them about Brittany. And Brittany is now on her second season as being the lead makeup artist at the Steve Show.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna tell you now, don't DM me because I have no jobs for you, okay? Okay? But I tell you that because this is the lesson about the people pillar you need to understand. There is always someone watching you who has the power to bless you. But who are they watching you be? How are they watching you behave? Are you the girl that always has an attitude and a scowl on your face? People don't know if they can say good morning to you today. You come in like a whirlwind. You're funky.
In all ways.
Not smelling funky. Attitude funky. You just funky. Some of y'all just wake up with an attitude. What are you mad about? You're alive. What you mad about? That goes back to that fifth pillar. If somebody did something to you, then you need to go get professional help and work through it. Because now you're jeopardizing future opportunities because of how you're showing up. And you can be talented, but folks don't hire the most talented. They hire who they like. I know for sure that I'm not the best speaker. I don't even have a speaker voice. I don't even have like, hi, I'm Patrice. I don't even like have all of that. But I get booked because I treat people well. And I don't care if you're the CEO or the janitor. I don't care if you're a future professional or the owner. I'm gonna hug you, I'm gonna laugh with you, I'm gonna talk with you. It is what it is. That doesn't matter to me. But some of you only talk to people if you think they can get you somewhere. But who's really making decisions are the other people you're ignoring. They're the ones looking at you and reporting back to the person who could hire you. And they're like, no, you don't want her. No, they're always late. They shouldn't go. They're not. Right? So who are people watching you be? That's the people pillar. The third pillar is space, and space is about setting up your life to support you. How many of you heard that time is money? You've heard time is money? What does it mean? What does it mean? Y'all love defining stuff with what we already said. Time is money. What does it mean? Time is money. Okay, I got that. Someone said don't waste time. Yes. But how many of you waste time every single day looking for things? Going in circles looking for things. Who lost their keys just this week? How many of you lost your phone this week at some point? Do you know that the average person spends 76 hours a year in America looking for things they already own and can never find? 3 days looking for stuff. Isn't that crazy? Right? But I believe that we don't just misplace things because we're so absent-minded. I believe that the reason we misplace a lot of stuff is because we're dealing with too much clutter. And my definition for clutter is the physical manifestation of chaos in your mind. The physical manifestation of chaos in your mind. Whenever you are stuck in an area, whenever you feel like I can't find the answers, I've been thinking about it, I've been praying about it, I've been talking to everyone about it, and I feel stuck and I can't move forward, take a look around your environment. There's probably clutter somewhere. And so much of your clarity gets stuck in the clutter. So if I came home with you right now, who would be ashamed to let me come in their closet? You'd be like, wait by the door, wait by the door. If I said, hey, we need help getting to the airport. Who can take me to the airport? Who would be ashamed to let me in their car? Some of you are like, thank God we came on the bus. Thank God she can't ask us. Right? You have to set your environment up to support you. Not only will it help give you clarity, but the other thing is you begin to teach people how to treat you. Because when people see how sacred you are about your space, then they start to honor your space as well. When you don't take care of your stuff, what do? They come in and trash it. When your room is clean, people don't know where they can even put anything. They just hold all their stuff and talk to you. But when your space is messed up, they be like, my cup, her cup, what does it matter? Drop my trash off, right? So you want to take care of your space because that's going to help you stay on time so that you show up as your best self and you get the opportunities from people that lead to the money. You see how this keeps going back in a circle? It leads to the money. The fourth pillar is faith, and faith is about believing in something greater. Believing in something greater. Now, I tell people all the time, you've heard a little bit about my story. You've heard about me losing my son. You've heard about me losing my business, but that's nothing compared to what I've actually been through. Those are like the PG versions of the stuff I could tell you. But here's what I know to be true. Out of everything that I've been through, none of that has happened to me. Every single thing has happened for me. My faith reminds me that all of these things have come together for my good, and I believe that. Because while I was passionate about financial education before I ended up on that bathroom floor, the compassion that I learned for people is why I do what I do now. It's why I can get up and do this day in and day out. I had to go through that. Or I would have been a kid that came out of college making a lot of money and being a smart aleck. I wouldn't have experienced anything. So when we start to shift and look at the things that have happened in our lives as something that happened not to us, before us, the whole world can open up for you. Because now you are more empowered to look for the good. Sometimes you have to fight for the good. Sometimes you have to fight to see the good. You have to fight for your gratitude. It's not obvious, but you have to be willing to look at things and say, all right, this is either a lesson or a blessing. But nothing has meaning except for the meaning that I assign to it. Either I'm going to make it a lesson, or I'm going to say this is going to bless me somehow, and I get to choose. No one else gets to choose. So I'm not here to convert you. I am a believer, considered a Christian, but I don't come to convert people. Here's what I come to tell you. Whatever you say you practice, practice it. If you identify with some type of faith, then actually do it. You're not too busy to take 10 minutes out to journal, to pray, to meditate. You're not that busy. You can't schedule five minutes a day to be quiet. You can't turn down the radio when you're driving and just have a moment and not constantly be bombarded with things. Yeah, you can. Because it's not a matter of if something's going to happen to you, it's when. Life is going to happen. Accidents don't make appointments. We don't get to choose. And so the best thing you can do for yourself is believe in something so you can stand. Because if you believe in nothing, you will fall. Every time life deals you a blow, you're going to fall over. And you don't have to. But that's what your faith does. It comes to make that foundation stronger. The fifth pillar is work. Work is about living your life's purpose. And I would hope that all of you are here at Paul Mitchell because you believe this is in alignment with your purpose. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, awesome. The main thing with the whole living in your purpose is understanding. I was a financial management consultant down in Atlanta for years. I coached one-on-one hundreds of people. And they would say, Patrice, my budget, my credit, my this. But when we would really start talking, their big problem was they hated what they did every day. Hated it. And because they were unfulfilled at work, they would mismanage their finances. When you're not happy with what you do all day, you can't wait to get a little check because you're going to take it to the mall. And you're going to say stuff like, well, I work hard and I deserve it. I deserve it. And then you have your little friend co-sign, girl, you do work hard. You do deserve it.
Yes.
And now she's broke, you're broke, and you can't help each other. Not good. Right? So the work pillar is about reminding you. I always say chase purpose, not money. When you leave Paul Mitchell, I pray that you have several offers. But don't you take the first offer that has the most money. If you only go for the offer that has the most money, but you hate the environment, you can't stand the people, the culture isn't right, it's not a great fit for you, you're going to end up wasting money. In the end, you might feel like you made more, but once you start using money to fill that void, downhill from there. So choose what's in alignment with you. Ask yourself, what feels good for me? Who are the people I like to be around? What type of energy do I vibe with? Those questions matter. Because you can make all the money in the world, but if you're miserable, what good is that? So with the work pillar, remember that you want to live your life's purpose. You want to find something that you feel is in alignment with your calling. And the last pillar is money. And money is about, really, you guys, attracting the wealth that you desire, but making sure that you do all these other pillars. I don't have to tell you that you need to budget. You've heard that. You've heard that, right? How many of you do it? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, you've heard that you should probably save like 10% of your income, right? How many of you try? Yeah, you don't even try. You don't even try. Okay, you've heard these things, but you're dealing with all the clutter and the mental frustration and the anxiety and all the things that come from all these other pillars not being in order. And if you don't do the work on these other things, I don't care how much money you make, you'll never sustain it. Because who you are with $100 is who you are with $1,000. And who you are with 1,000 is who you're going to be with 10,000. And if you're not willing to exercise that muscle and get the discipline now, it's not about the denomination. It's about the discipline that you build right where you are right now. So if you have to save $1 a week, you save $1 a week. Because when those numbers get bigger, you want to be in the habit of doing that. You're not all of a sudden going to do it because you make more money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the main thing with money is understanding that money comes and goes. You've seen the lottery winners. You've seen the celebrities, the entertainers, the people who have made millions and millions of dollars, and then they're filing bankruptcy, and you're like, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with you? Because more money does not improve your mindset. You have to do the work to improve your mindset. And the more you look at these pillars and figure out what are the things that I need to start to incorporate in my life right now, and you make those things habits and a part of just who you are, a part of your DNA, then the greater opportunity you have that when you get to the money, you are already fulfilled. And you don't have to use money trying to prove anything to anyone. You are happy and comfortable with who you are and where you are because you're living your life's purpose and you're fulfilled and you have the ability to now earn more without never chasing money. Thank you guys so much for your time.